Hello, everybody. Welcome to this PwC's Career Webcast series. We are very happy to be with you today and very happy that you was able to join. Today it's about financial audit. I will just introduce myself shortly. So my name is Caroline. I work at PwC for 7 years now, and I am in charge of the recruiting events and all kind of events that we organize with the students. So I'm really happy to be able today again to make you discover a small part of PwC. I will hand the stage to my colleague. I have two colleagues from Audit with me today, and they will explain to you a bit more about what they're going to talk to you. Just one more thing before I leave the stage. You can ask questions during all the events. You have you have a chat and you can type all your questions, and we will take some time at the end of the webcast to answer to you. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you, Caroline. So welcome from my side. Welcome to this webcast on career start in financial audit. I will propose agenda today is the following. First, Gregory and myself will quickly introduce ourselves. Then I will give you an overview of PwC and how financial audit is included in this whole organization. Gregory will then provide you with a deep dive in the financial services world, our department, which we are coming from, and the career path within PwC. I will then explain you what makes the difference between PwC and other employers, and I hope to convince you. Caroline will then give you an overview of the recruitment process, and we will finish with this a dedicated Q&A session, which will last around 15 minutes. As Caroline mentioned, I really encourage everyone to ask as many questions as possible. You know that you can post your question just below the video. We will then at the end take as many questions as we can. So let's start. So who we are, I will start. So my name is Marie-Ève Fortier. I'm a director in the financial services audit practice in Geneva. I'm Canadian. I did my studies at HEC in Montreal. So during my studies, I started my career with PwC as a trainee. Then when I was a senior, I transferred in Switzerland. So it was 16 years ago now. It was in 2005. So during all those last years, I have developed an expertise in the private banking activities, and I'm now serving some of our well-known banks in the Swiss markets. I have also a second life at home, as I'm also the mother of 3 beautiful girls. I'm here today with Gregory Cachin. I will let him introduce himself.
Yes, thank you, Marie-Ève. So, hello, everybody. My name is Gregory Cachin. I joined PwC in 2016, and I am now manager in financial services. Most of my clients are active in the private bank or retail bank activities. Before joining PwC, I did a master's degree in business administration, and I also worked part-time in a Raiffeisen bank in the credit sector, and then I made my Swiss CPA during my first year at PwC.
Thank you, Gregory. So now if we talk a bit about PwC. So in general, what is our mission in PwC? It is stated on this slide. We want to help organization and individual to create the value they are looking for. So you can see here that we have around 3,000 of employees, which are in our multiple offices in Switzerland. We have 15 offices. So this is our main mission. Then what is underlying this mission? So we say our purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems. How we do this? So maybe I'll put more attention on what you see on the right side of this slide. I will talk about the values, which are really important for us working in PwC. So we're referring to make a difference, work together, reimagine the possible, care, and act with integrity. Maybe if I can focus on 2 of them, which I think are especially important for our new joiners. it will be care and work together. So in PwC, we want to create an atmosphere of trust and be sure that our new joiners feel fully integrated and comfortable with their colleagues and our whole organization. We invest a lot of time in coaching, and that's a key point for our new joiners, and we really create those strong relationships. If I think about the people like 16 years ago that I met when I joined PwC, some of them are still friends as of today. And I think that's the picture I want to give you today, is that we're really working together and we create a sort of family. So that's really important value in PwC. Then if we talk about our strategy, the strategy is called the new equation. Maybe you heard about it in the media. What is important in this equation? We add trust plus sustainability, and this is the new equation. So we want to bring confidence in the capital markets. At the same time, we want to create sustainable outcomes. So sustainability, and in particular ESG, is certainly a topic that you heard about during the last years. This is also an important area for us, and we want to prepare our clients to the disclosure that they will be required on this aspect. So this is our global strategy. Now we continue to dig in with a few numbers about our entity in Switzerland. So as I mentioned earlier, we have 15 offices in Switzerland. We have the average years of experience is 34, so it's quite young. We have 85 nationality, quite diverse, and also 82 women in this word. So it's a few numbers, but it gives you an overview of our PwC entity. Then when we look at the structure, we have 3 lines of services. The biggest one is audit, so assurance. Then we have also tax and legal services and advisory. So the one that we are talking today is assurance. This is the one for which Gregory and myself are working. So now if we go to a second level, this assurance pillar is split into 3 dimensions. So we have financial services. We have also trade, industries and services, and digital assurance. So financial services is the one also for which Gregory and myself are working. This is mainly bank, insurance company, or asset management like funds. Then we have the second pillar, which is trade, industries, and services. So basically, I would say this is all the entities which are not included in the financial services word. So it's quite diverse. It includes industrial product. It would include like Nestle, Novartis. All these entities are included in this second pillar. And then the third one, which is not, as you see, part of the financial audit word, is digital assurance. So we're talking about audit of systems, interface, really the digital audit. So this is another pillar, but which is not, they are helping us on the financial audit, but it's not really, they're not really doing financial audit. So now I think we will do a deep dive in this financial services word to give you an overview of what it is. So Gregory, up to you.
Yeah, thank you, Marie-Ève. So as Marie-Ève explained, we will focus on the financial services part. So you have here most of our main client in the bank sector. So I guess that you know most of them. What is interesting to see is that even if it is only bank, they are quite different type of client. Meaning you can see that we have private bank like Pictet or Lombardier. You have retail bank like Migros Bank or Banca Stato. You can find online bank like Swissquote or Flow Bank, which is not mentioned on this slide, or universal bank like the Credit Suisse or Crédit Agricole. So even if we are talking an auditing bank, there is really diversity in the client we are working for. Also interesting to mention, you can work for a group like Pictet, for example, but then you will have to audit the wealth management part, the asset management part. You can have clients who are involved in the brokerage, or clients who are more involved in the retail activity, like the bank that you used to have for your private affair. Then, if we move to the next slide, what we want to explain you is also that for a bank, you have two kind of different audit. And I think it's something really interesting to know and to be aware of, because if you work in this industry, you will only have financial audit. In the bank world, you will have the financial audit, which is the standard audit of the financial statement, but you will also have the regulatory audit, which is the audit of the compliance with the regulation. And I think personally that this is the most interesting part in our work, because this is the part where you will be able to understand the process of a bank, the control of the bank, how the bank, what is really the business model of the bank, and what are the bank activities. So every year you will define a strategy and you will audit different audit fields of the bank, and you will report to the FINMA. So that's the main difference between the regulatory audit and the financial audit. Like regulatory audit, you work for the FINMA and you report every year a report to the FINMA to explain how the bank works and what are the control, the process in place, and what can be improved. So I think it's really an interesting part of the work that we have as financial auditor in the FS part. In this slide, you have like the most important audit area in the regulatory audit. So I will not go through every audit field in details, but what you can see is that you have, for example, the capital adequacy, the liquidity, and the risk concentration. So you will have to review those areas for the FINMA. Then you have the operational risk. So the execution only, advisory mandate, and management mandate. So basically that's, you have to ensure how the bank deal with your money. So for example, if you have an account in a bank, that you have management mandate for your money, you will have to ensure that the bank process and the control in place are good enough to ensure the compliance with the regulation. And I think that's really, for me, the most interesting part to understand what the bank is doing and how the bank is doing the work. Then you have also the market risk, credit risk, corporate governance, ICS, so understanding of the internal organization and the control in place at the level of the bank. And also the AML, so the anti-money laundering, which is an important thematic for all our clients. On this slide, you will find a little bit the timing, the usual timing for the regulatory audit and the financial audit. So during the summer, I would say that most of the work is planification. So you will planify the team which is going to work on the client. You will planify the audit procedure that you will put in place. And then during the months of October until December, you will perform most of the work for the regulatory audit. And you will also start to perform the interim audit for the financial statement. So you have to be quite flexible in the way you are working, because you will be involved both on the regulatory audit and on the financial audit. And then beginning of the year, you will be involved more on the financial audit. So most of the time, everything is done between January and March. So you can report to the board of directors during end of March, and then you will issue your audit opinion for the general meeting. And in the same time, during the months of February until March, you will finalize the regulatory audit. So you will be able to report to the FINMA with the regulatory reporting until end of April. And this is, I think, the most intensive period of the year for us, because we have to finalize both the financial audit and the regulatory audit. Then your path at PwC. You find on this graphic an interesting explanation of how it works. So basically, you will start your career at PwC as an associate. Normally, you will be associate during 2 years, and you will start to familiarize with the audit work, with the methodology, with the test we are performing. Of course, you will be always coached by more experienced team members, which are the senior associates. Usually, you are senior associate during 3 years, and then, if you have the Swiss CPA generally, you will be promoted as manager. And then, as manager, you will manage more clients, and you will be the point of reference for the team and like the coach for all the team member. And as manager, you will report either to a director or a partner, depending on the mandate you're working for. As you can see on this slide, for me, an important point is that you will grow very fast at PwC, meaning that you will finish your university or your study like next summer. You will start as associate, and 2 years after being associate, you will be senior associate. So you will immediately have more responsibility, and also you will be involved in coaching, helping less experienced team member. And I think from my side, it's really an important and interesting part of being an employee at PwC. Here we have tried to explain you what is a typical day as new joiner when you will join PwC. So generally the day starts at 8 o'clock with a team meeting. So the idea is to set the goals for the day, to explain you what you will have to perform as work. And then on 8 o'clock, you will start to work. So what you're going to do is to review the control of the bank. You will have to perform more substantial audit procedures to audit really your client. Then at 12, we go to the lunch, and usually with my team, we enjoy to go to the restaurant to speak a little bit about something else than the work, to get to know each other. And of course, as Marie mentioned before, that this kind of moment that will allow you to have friends when you will leave or when other people will leave PwC. And it's really important to have good contact and good friends at PwC, because it will help you during your career. Then when you go back from the lunch, you will document all the work you are performing. And then for the end of the day, we will generally organize a taking stock meeting. So the idea is to have an overview of what is doing, what has been done during the day, and what are the next steps for the next days. And then for the end of the day, generally, the more experienced team member will review the work you have performed and will also help you to understand what could be enhanced in the work that has been done. Our deal for our people. So you have a list of different things that we can expect from you, and you can expect from us. What you can expect from PwC, if I talk personally, for me, really it was the learning curve, because you start as a new joiner, you know almost nothing about the bank sector or about your client. And then 2 years later, you will be senior, you will help the team to understand what they are doing. You will be involved in reviewing the work performed by less experienced team member. And then after 5 years, you can be a manager. And as manager, you will have a lot of contact with people very high in the hierarchy in the bank. So for example, if I take my example, I have almost every week meeting with the chief financial officer of big private bank in Geneva. And 5 years ago, I was just working for a small Raiffeisen bank during my study. So for me, really the learning curve and what it will allow you to achieve in your career is really an important part. And then what we can expect from you, I think it's really the curiosity and the openness and the willingness to learn and to acquire new knowledge. Because if you join PwC, you will learn a lot, but you have to be motivated to learn a lot and to be really to have curiosity and willingness to learn. So I think it's the most important point from my side.
Yes, so back to me. Maybe just an additional point to the presentation of Gregory, and thanks, Gregory. I just want to distinguish financial audits, which is the purpose of our webcast today, and financial services. So as you have seen, in financial audit, we're doing either working for financial services area or in the TIS, trade, industry, and services area. So here, what Gregory just explained was about financial services, because we're really working for bank, Gregory and myself. But there's also another word from the trade, industry, and services. If I can share one of my experience, I started my career with PwC in Montreal in TIS. So I did 2 years in TIS, really like it. And I joined the FS Word in Switzerland. So I have both. I've seen both services, which is quite good, but I need to say that my preference is where I sit today. So now, what would make the difference if you have to choose PwC compared to other employers? The benefits that we would like to put in this presentation first is the well-being. Well-being, we're talking about we have a program which is called Be Well, Work Well. So part of it is, as Gregory mentioned, to go for lunch with your colleague, have time to discuss other things than work. And we also encourage our people to have like sports activities outside of PwC. We have also course internally, like yoga course. We really encourage our people because we think that if you're well and you're physically well, you will be also well in your work. So the second point is the flex agility, and I will come back to this in the next slide. The third point is the training, which is an important one for you because you know that we expect our new joiners to do the Swiss Certified Public Accountant diploma. So here, what I want to highlight is that we have a lot of coaching and training to support our people who are doing the professional judgment. We want to be sure that our people are ready, and it has been really successful in the past year because we had a high rate of success. So I just want to inform you that we are really well prepared for these course. The last point is the digital upskilling. You know that more and more companies are talking about digitalization. It's also an important topic for us in PwC, and I'll come back in the next slide on this point. So maybe first, if we talk about the hybrid flexible model. This is a topic that we implemented 1 year ago. So following the COVID-19 crisis, we discovered that we can work in a flexible way, in a more flexible way. So it means that you don't need to be in all time in clients' premises. So we did some session with our staff to explain them that either you work in PwC, either you work in the client premises or at home, but you need to choose the place which is the best way to serve the client. So some clients prefer that you work from home. It's better for them because they don't like to see the auditor every day. Others prefer that you come on site because there are some confidential data. So it really changed from one client to another. And we try, if possible, if there are some administrative tasks to do, maybe you can work also from home. What we want to say is with this slide is that we really trust the people we're working at. So we trust that you will be working wherever you will be sit. So that's an important point, and it's working very well. The second topic that I want to highlight in the presentation is about our digital transformation. So we're really trying to push the digitalization in our audit work. So it means that we train our people. So with new tools such as Alteryx, Power BI, Tableau. So we have this digital upskilling because we want to change the way we are doing the audit. So personally, what I'm doing is that I ask all my teams as an objective to find a new way to audit the client we are working on. So we try to identify what are the opportunities that we can implement a new tool such as Alteryx. And then during the audit, we implement this tool. And this is how in the coming years, we will be more and more digitalized. And it has been successful because really you as young students, you have a creative idea, and it's really, we want to use it to really empower our audit. That's it for the benefits, and I hope I convince you that PwC will be making the difference as an employer. And then I will leave the floor to Caroline to explain maybe some what is the recruitment process.
Thank you, Marie-Eve. So now I guess that you all want to apply and come join us at PwC. So I will just tell you a bit more about the recruitment process and how this is working. So all our positions are online. You can all find them on our career website. So you just select the job that you would like to apply to, and then you have the online application. If your profile matches the criteria that we are looking for, then you will receive an online assessment. So there is one part of logical questions, one part of personality, more questions, and one English test. So it's about like 1.5 hours of assessment. But don't worry, it's really not too hard, and we don't only rely on that, of course. But it already gives us some ideas of who you are, and of course the English level, for example. Then we will call you, even if the online assessment is not that great. We will call you because we also want to have like a real contact with you. So this will be a short phone interview just to get in touch and learn a bit more about you when you apply for the position, to also discuss the online assessment and check what you did together. After this phone interview, if it goes well, then we will invite you for a first interview. Then here it will depend on the position. You will have 1 or 2 interviews depending on the position. And so you will, so it's still a bit depending, but either it will be a virtual interview, either you will be invited to the office, and there you will meet a manager or other member of the teams, and it will be a more formal interview, asking a lot of questions about your background, and also you having the opportunity to ask all your questions to us. So yes, then you can have a second interview, and then if everything goes well, then we will make you an offer, and you will be part of the PwC team. And we always have 2 intro days in Zurich for our new joiners. So this can look a bit long, but it can be really fast. From your online application, it can take 1 to 2 or 3 weeks for the process to length. Yes. So we have all our open positions online. So also, I think it's important to know that for audit, we recruit quite a long time before. We have open positions for October usually, and we can recruit 1 year before. We still have open positions for October 2022. So in Geneva, in Lausanne, in Zurich, in many offices in Switzerland for both financial services and trade and industry services. So if you're interested, it's still time to apply, and we will be really happy to have your application. So yes, I will just recommend you to have a look. And if you have any questions on the position, there is always on the job position the name and the contact number of the person in charge of the position, the recruiter. So also please feel free to call the person and ask your questions. We are here to help you. Yes, I think that's it on my side. and then there will be time for Q&A. So I see that we already have 2 questions. If you have more, don't hesitate to ask them in the chat, and I will already ask the first question to Marie-Ève and Gregory. We have one first question regarding the fact, do you work a lot in teams?
Yes, so maybe I'll give my response, and Gregory, you can add if you want. So you work a lot in teams. We're really working a lot in teams. So, I mean, that's an important point because we know that we have a young population and coaching is important. So to do correct coaching, we need to work in teams. So it's really, I would say, quasi impossible that you'll be alone on a client, or you will be working directly with a manager. But in any case, obviously, either you are working with like a big group, or you're working directly with a senior, but you're always in a team, yeah. And Gregory, maybe you can share your experience with your big job.
Yes, no, I agree with Marie-Ève. You will always be on working with a team. And maybe one thing to add is that you will maybe work with one team during, I don't know, maybe it's 1 week or 2 weeks. And then you will change the team and you will meet new people, new way of working. And that's also something that is very interesting because it's never the same way of working and you will have to adapt with the other people. And I think it's also an interesting part of the job as auditor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing. I have another question. Do we need to take the CPA and what other trainings do you offer?
Yes, so in our financial services department, for us, as we're doing financial audit, we request our new joiner to do the Swiss CPA because otherwise, I mean, that's the way we are. I mean, that's an important point to be a manager. That's a requirement to be a manager in PwC. So we don't want you to be blocked at this level. So yes, you need to take the CPA, but we support you in this learning. As I said earlier, we offer support to prepare for the exam. We're doing, I don't know how we say it in English, but en blanc, examen en blanc with you. So you're well prepared when you're going to the exam. And we have people who has done the exam just a year before, so they are ready and can help you on this.
Thank you. And yes, if I can also just add that we are using, like, I think it's 10% of our turnover for trainings for our employees. This is really something that is quite important for us. And yes, you can access to many trainings, language, soft skills, well, anything you could be interested in and who has a connection with what you do. So I think it's also important. Then we have 2 questions that are quite similar. Are you interested in people with a bachelor's degree in business administration who are continuing on to a master's degree? So this would mean a 40% job on the side. And someone else is asking if it's possible to do an internship in audit while still studying. Maybe I can start to answer the question, and maybe Marie-Ève, you can add information. But audit is really a 100% job. The thing is that while you are doing audits during the busy, we really need to have some people that are available full time. This is why this is quite not compatible with doing your studies at the same time or having another job. And we only offer 100% job. I don't know if Marie-Ève, you want to add something to that?
No, that's it. It's really correct because, I mean, it would be difficult just to be there when we are like pressure on issuing the financial audit opinion to have someone who is not there all the week. It's important to build this team spirit and you'll be there all day, all week long. But then it does not mean that in the long term, if you want to be working partial time, it's impossible. I'm a part-time worker, so this is feasible. But during the first year in PwC, we recommend like working 100%, not with the studies, because on both sides, it won't be successful. It won't be successful with PwC, and won't be successful, I think, with your studies. So we want to ensure that you are successful.
Thank you. Then this is a question that I can also answer is, do you make a difference between a bachelor and a master's degree? And I guess this is someone from the Romandie, because, for example, do you rate MCCF degree higher than others? We try to hire quite a diverse population. So we will look at bachelor, but also a master's degree, both of them. It's true that the MCCF is a master specific in audit, so you have quite a lot of good knowledge when you start. But we are looking at many things when we hire the person for PwC, and we are also looking at personalities, potential. So many things are playing, and everybody has a chance, really. So yes, exactly. I also have a question. What tools and technology do you work most with, and how do you think will auditing transform in the future? This one is for you auditors.
Okay, so I mean, as I said, we're trying to be adapt to this digital world. So for sure, we're using the typical tools like Excel and PowerPoint and all this stuff. But what is really important is that we try to go for other tools which will make our audit more efficient, such as Alteryx. Alteryx is an application which gave us the possibility to analyze a full population instead of going to a sample. So this is what we want to add as a value for the client. We want to analyze the full population and not only a sample. So this is one of the examples. Tableau and Power BI are other tools that we use to visualize data. And we could bring with those tools. I have one example for one client where we use this tool and we brought some new information to the client that they were not aware of. And they really appreciate it and ask us if we can share the tool with them. So we really go for this, and we are doing a lot of training in this sense. So yes, we're really we have really good digital tools, I think, with PwC. And obviously, our work is documented in a database which is called Aura. We don't have any more papers, so we're all working on our computer. Our computer is key for sure, and no more paper.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any summer internships in PwC? So for audit, we won't have any summer internships because it's the low season where the auditors are mainly either in holidays or studying. So we unfortunately won't have any summer internships for audit during the summer. I also have a question. What does an auditor do if he finds out that the client is committing fraud?
That's a funny topic because I think I never had in my career, which is, 16 years in Switzerland and 2 or 3 years in Canada, I never have seen a client committing fraud. I'm discovering fraud with a client. So that's really something I would like before the end of my career, but it's really difficult to find fraud because people who are doing fraud are really good to hide it. So if we found one, obviously that's a key topic and it's a key risk when we are doing the audit. It means that if we are discovering fraud, we need to discover what does it mean exactly? Is it really isolated? Who has done it? And we need to bring this topic really carefully. But obviously, that's an important topic for the financial audit. And if we find something in this area, we will need to report it clearly to the board of directors.
Okay, thank you. And I think that would be the last question. And we have a question regarding salary. So for a confidential purpose, we won't be able to share this, but just also to jump on the question, we have scales anyway for salary. We are also equal salary certificate. So we also don't make any difference between men and women. I think it's also important to remind that. So yes, so that will be something that you will discover when you will get an offer from us. Yeah, I think we're at the end of the time and the questions, so perfect timing. I think we will close here. So I would like to thanks a lot Marie-Ève and Gregory for coming to this webcast and sharing their experience and knowledge with you students. And I also would like to thank you for attending the webcast and asking your questions. And please also know that we offer many events during the year, and you can find all our events on our career website, and you can also reach us through different ways, by email, phone, or through also social media. So don't hesitate if you have any other questions. And yes, thank you very much, Marie-Ève and Gregory, for all the information.
Thank you. Thank you to all participants, and wish you to see you in PwC one day. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon. Bye.
Thank you.